working 9 to 5. It's easy when you love it and you're busy living that sharp life. It's easy when you love it and you're busy living that sharp life. All right.
Bob, just walk us through how you've got your shop set up, because it is very well organized.
Okay. Well, basically over here we have pretty much most of my storage, handle materials, blanks, all sorts of parts that need drawers and stuff. My heat treating furnace over there, bandsaws. And down this way we have what I call drill press row.
You can never, having made knives, you can never have too many drill presses.
Never have too many drill presses. These are 2 Bergmasters, very old, probably from these are both from the mid to early 50s. Dedicated drill press for the tapping head, Tapmatic. And we got lights all over the place. Dedicated for deburring. 1 Bergmaster with all this. The second Bergmaster is only carbide drills for things like materials like G10 and carbon fiber.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for the standard titanium and wood and so forth. And my bigger drill press, this one came with me from Guatemala in 1984. And it's still really good. Solid drill press. Here's my workbench. Once again, you can never have too many storage drawers. I've got screws and bits and parts all over the place. Down here, basically the same thing. All sorts of parts and pieces and parts and parts. And I like to have all of my tools that I use frequently, like my calipers, rules, different kind of measuring devices, marking devices, within arm's reach, because I'm pretty lazy. I don't like traveling all over the shop.
It's not lazy, Bob. Everything. We called it economy of motion in the military.
Economy of motion, I call it laziness. Basically the same thing. Okay. So we got these here, and buffers, polishes. This is Scotch-Brite. I have 2 diamond cutoff wheels. A lot of people have asked me, how do you do the little notches at the top of the blade, like the on the thumb ramp?
The jimping.
Yeah, and so I do it over here. I don't know if you can see this little finger here. Mm-hmm. See that little spring finger?
Yep.
I'll cut one.
And then use that as the guide for the next one.
Set it in for the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And it gives me evenly spaced notches all along the top of the thumb ramp. That's what I use right there.
And these are basically the same kind of diamond wheels you'd use for cutting jade and stone and things like that, right?
They could be used for jade, yeah. They're resin bonded diamond.
Yeah, and that's what you had said. There was just such a correlation between the tools that knife makers were using and in the jade jewelry industry.
And let me tell you, diamond has come in really handy working with MagnaCut, because MagnaCut is very difficult to finish. To get scratches out when getting down to the very finer grits and so forth. And I found that it's easiest if I actually use a diamond belt. And these look they're pretty well used, but they last a long time. I use them wet.
Mm-hmm.
And the final finish on the MagnaCut I'll do with the diamond belt. It gives me a nice polish that I can then put into the tumbler.
And then over here, grinders, lots of grinders.
This is where I use the diamond. Let me put a light on here so you can see that a little bit better. This is not diamond, though the other ones are.
Is that a Trizac?
This is a Trizac belt. But when I am using the diamond, what I'll do is set up a sponge here at the top, and I have
An IV bottle. Yeah.
an IV bottle, and that'll drip right into the sponge. Oh, here's the other one. I got the sponge right here. It'll drip right into the sponge, and I can, if I control the water flow, it won't splatter very much. It'll just keep the belt kind of damp.
I'm stealing that idea, Bob, because
You can steal it.
I'm getting ready to make another knife.
Okay. Here's another idea you can steal. This is my dust collector. It's just a 20-inch box fan.
Sucking it through a furnace filter.
Furnace filter. And you can take a look at it. You can see it's already kind of dusty and dirty.
Yeah.
Getting ready to change that.
Luckily, my grinder is outside.
Yeah. 20
So-
by 20.
Yeah.
Horizontal grinder. This is an AMK. I really like it a lot. It's very solid, very functional, and I use it for just about everything that has to be done horizontally, including some really small cuts with using a half-inch.
Mhm.
And I recommend these two are variable speed. I really recommend you have at least one variable speed grinder.
Yeah.
They're more expensive.
It's always good because as you go up in grit, you need to go down in speed.
Yeah.
To just to manage the
Right.
the friction and the heat.
And you may notice that all of my major grinders here, 1, 2, 3, I got the platen grinder, the 8-inch, and the other 8-inch. They're all Burr Kings, and Burr King is one of the sponsors for that series, A Sharp Life. They helped sponsor that. One of the reasons why I really like Burr King a lot is because, as far as I know, they're the only grinder that has a front wheel drive. Most other grinders are driven
From the back.
from the back, and the front wheel is really just an idler wheel, which is run by the belt. But Burr King actually runs the front wheel, which means that I can change this wheel into a large Scotch-Brite wheel. I can turn it into a grinding wheel, which I do for jade, diamond, various kinds of grits and polishing wheels. I have a good variety of those that fit right here on this one or the other one, and I can use it directly as a buffer or polisher.
It just gives you more capabilities in a shop with the same
me
amount of
A
equipment.
lot more flexibility, yeah. And of course, I've always said that Burr Kings are the Cadillac of grinders. I mean, they are. I've had most of these. I've had these two since 1987.
Wow.
Maybe 1986. I've never had any problem. Never had to change a bearing. Never did anything.
That's
they just
impressive.
they're industrial workhorses. What they are. Flat plate and grinder. This is what I call my machine bench. I've got a whole bunch of different machines here. Polisher. This is a high-speed little drill press I use for shadow boxing.
Mm-hmm.
This is a thickness sander. I can put a vacuum up here, and this table moves up and down. And inside is a drum with sandpaper.
Mm-hmm.
So I can run, if I have to make a spacer, for example, that's a couple of thousandths thinner than the material that I've got. I can just run it through here, take off just a couple of thousandths at a time. Very handy. This is my flat disc sander. I have various wheels that can come on here.
You've got that hooked to a vacuum.
So hook to a vacuum. I have a lot of vacuums in the
Well,
shop.
yeah,
They're
it's you can
all over the place.
it was obvious. I was like, when I walked in, I was like, he's got to have vacuums on everything because there's just it's for as much work as you do in here. It's
Here we
very
go.
clean.
Yeah, I've got this.
Yeah.
Let me get in front of you here.
Sorry.
This is actually a Wells dental engine, is what they call it. And the nice thing about this, got all these drums and everything. You can do a quick change like this.
Oh, that is
Put one back in. Where is it? Right there. And I've got all these
different size
kinds of
drums.
brushes and
Yeah.
drums and so forth. You can change them while you're working. Makes a nice little buffer.
and it's not loud.
No, it's not.
That's a
loud at
very
all.
quiet machine.
It's made for a dental laboratory.
Yeah.
You know. So,
Now, I had a question for you, and I'm looking at this here. Is this a paper wheel?
yes.
So that and now I've told people this for years that that's why the edges on your knives have got a different feel than a lot of other knives. And because me being a sharpener, I knew that you were using a paper wheel. So what's the benefit? Like, I know the benefit, but what's the benefit that you find using a paper wheel as one of the final steps?
When I put an edge on a knife, be it a resharpening or right from the beginning, when the initial edge being created, I'll do it on the grinder.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I'll use either the A45 or the A30 Trizac belt. And that'll give me a nice even cut all the way along the edge. Now that'll create a burr. It'll create what they call a wire edge sometimes, or a burr. And that's what I look for. If you hold it in just the right position, you can see this bright white line right along the edge, and that means you've got an even burr or wire edge all the way along the edge. Okay, you got to take that off. And I found the best way to do it was with a hard paper wheel. And they call it paper. It's cardboard. I don't know. It's a very dense material. I use this is basically a triple E compound. I like it. It's a white diamond. It's become very hard to find with the triple X white diamond. I've had one where I have just a little piece left, probably for 20 years. And I just put it on here in this cardboard or paper. If you hold the knife in just the right position and then flip it over, it'll take off that wire edge without compromising the sharpness of that edge. And that's why I like the wire wheel.
It's a really crisp edge.
Mm-hmm.
You get the benefit of it's kind of a polished edge, but you also get the benefit of it doesn't like rub down. It doesn't burnish off the
And then,
the
of
tube.
course, I test the edge. I test the edge on my magazines. You can see here how I test the edges.
Magazine paper is one of the best ways. It's a really good matrix for testing sharpness.
It's clay. They call clay-coated stock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can also use it, and I've said this before, you can also use clay-coated paper like that, newsprint, stuff like that, as an improvised strop compound. Sometimes for some steels, it works really, really well.
Yeah.
So, and then
the
this is,
got all sorts of.
is this just kind of like a Bob's little tinker area right here?
Well, kind of. It's the preparation area for the milling machine. I've got all my milling collets here, and if you look at the top, these are all fixtures that I built for various procedures and different practices that I have to do on the milling machine. This is my milling machine. It's been with me since Santa Fe. It's not CNC. It's all hand operated.
That is a hefty, big mill you got there, Bob.
Yeah, it's a good heavy one. I really like it a lot.
That's one of the, like, I understand CNC makes things easier, but the fact is knowing how to run a mill and do it well and have a good final end product is something that's kind of going away.
Well,
And you make everything here, right? Everything on your knives pretty much is made here in the shop,
except for the water jet.
except for the water jet. So you make your own screws?
Generally, no.
Okay.
I can show you some screws made of gold that I
Yeah, I
do
know.
make.
I know that you have made gold screws.
Yeah.
I was going to touch on that.
It's not worth it to make screws. The
Yeah.
screws that I use, most of them, all the pivot screws come from Steve Kelly, which is tie connectors.
Yeah, he pretty
Let me
much
show you
makes
what
most of the best all around knife.
This is basically what my knives start out as. Here's the handle parts. And here are the blades.
Yep. Wow.
That's how I begin. And it's what I call generic shapes. I can make any shape of the knives that I'm making, my own personal knives, what we call the customs. I can make all of them from this shaped blade and all of them from that shaped handle.
Yeah.
Once again, storage all over the place.
Yeah. But I mean, you guys have got to realize this is a 3-car garage.
This is a
all of
3-car garage. Yeah.
This is what you just saw is all crammed into a 3-car garage, including blast booth,
Sandblaster,
tumbling for stone wash.
Every shop should have a sink.
Every shop should have a sink.
This
Finishing
is the chemical bench.
for
I've got ferric chloride,
ferric chloride for etching blades,
etching blades,
the
wings,
Wix rust
I've got,
remover.
blackener, sodium bicarbonate.
But you don't typically do a lot of anodizing though, do you?
Not of different colors. The anodizing I do, generally speaking, for my knives, is in the bronze,
Yeah.
brownish area, and that's this.
Yeah, that's your power supply. I mean, I know you do the bronze, but you're not like a lot of us. We do like the bright, brilliant blues and stuff like that. In
Some
some,
of us do this.
The other
yeah,
thing
I would
we
say
do-
I do this.
Susie
I do
does.
all the high-end anodizing for our openers and stuff.
Yeah. So
And I use.
Yeah, I do the low end anodizing. She does the high end anodizing.
Isn't that the story of our life?
That's the same of our life. Yeah.
and then on the walls is just a history of knife making throughout the years.
And then we have the door,
The door,
which you have to sign.
I have to sign the door.
Why doesn't Bob hold that while you sign the door?
I'll sign the door.
Here, let Bob hold it and you sign the door. Here's a marker. There you go.
Sign the door.
Uh-huh.
Where am I going to sign the door? I think I'll sign it right here. What's today's date? I can't see that.
It is the
Is it March?
6th. March 6th.
So when we first moved to California, I had a container full of equipment, tools, machines, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And we rented an apartment. We were looking for a house. We didn't have a house yet. We rented an apartment, and we had a shop in an industrial compound. And we had met a few people, Rick Clow, Adam Jacobs,
Ben,
Ben Stone.
All people that you have met and seen on the channel, ladies and
Exactly.
gentlemen.
Yeah. And they volunteered to help me move and empty out the container and set up the shop and so forth. We had this door in that warehouse, basically. So they extemporaneously just grabbed a marker and signed it. And somewhere it says that their first day crew. I'm not exactly sure where. There've been so many people.
Yeah.
So when we left that industrial park and moved up here to the shop, we took the door with us. So that door is now part of history, and we have all of our visitors sign the door, and they've
Yeah.
been doing it for years.
So we didn't look at these. So you've got several
lathes.
lathes here and a bandsaw, which absolutely that's my least favorite tool in any shop is bandsaw.
These two lathes are Derbyshires, made in America, very, very precise watchmakers lathes. Very, they're really exact. They're
Yeah.
very, very. They're probably the most precise lathes made in the United States, in Derbyshire. And this one is a Schaublin, which is one of the world's most precise and accurate lathes. This is a Schaublin Model 70. And this comes out of Switzerland. So I've got 3 very precise lathes and one which is okay. It's not great, but it's bigger, and I can use it for slightly heavier work.
It's like my filmography. This is the my filmography of the knife world. It's okay. Yeah, these are, so if you guys follow a lot of the watchmaking channels, they call them the watchmaker's turns. Super, super precise lathes.
Yeah, this is a setup that I made for cutting off pivots, stainless steel pivots.
Yeah.
I make my own pivots.
You make your own pivots.
Okay.
So, well, guys, this has been an incredible shop tour. Bob, thank you very much for spending the day with us. We're going to get some B-roll footage and stuff of you doing a little bit of stuff, something fancy that we're going to throw in, set to music. So,
And maybe I'll even tell you a true story about Sal Glesser and myself.
all right, guys, thanks for hanging out. I'm going to get I'll do an outro in this. This will be broke up into a handful of videos. Bob, thanks for giving us the time
My
out of
pleasure.
your day.
Thanks for being here, Mike.
Yeah, no problem.